Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3, where we will continue on with our witchy destinations. I sound a little bit better this time. My sinus infection has cleared up. Still have a little bit of a cough because it went into my chest, but, you know, we're all good. Gallbladder boy is feeling better. And
much better.
We've still got pirate chicken. So let's recap. We have a lot to cover in this episode, actually. So we'll get right to it. We'll recap the first 5 that we did in the last episode of Witchy Destinations. I'm just going to go through the names really quick. Excuse me, I still have a little bit of a tickle. In the number 10 spot, we had Cayo Las Brujas in Cuba, which is Witches Island. In the number 9 spot, we had the Witches Markets in Bolivia and Mexico. In the number 8 spot, we had Rose Hall in Jamaica. In the number 7 spot, we had Brocken, Germany. And then in the number 6 spot, we had Stonehenge. In no particular order. These aren't numbered like, well, I don't know. Because we haven't been to all of them. So we're just kind of, just our top 10 list of, oh, that looks like a great place to be on your cauldron list.
We're living the dream.
Yeah, we definitely are. Okay, so starting with number 5. We'll count down to number 1, which is a tie. So we're actually doing 6 more. But in number 5, which I thought was kind of interesting, was the Dark Hedges in Northern Ireland. Now, I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to pronounce where they are, the town, the road, or anything. You're going to have to Google that because, like I said, I tried to pronounce it as I was doing my research. And I'm like, no, not going to attempt that. It is an avenue of beech trees in Northern Ireland that form a really cool tunnel. It was used actually in the Game of Thrones.
Power is a curious thing. It's a trick. A shadow on the wall. Power resides where men believe it resides.
I shall wear no crowns and win no glory. I am the shield
that guards the realms of men.
For any of you Throne fans out there, I know that was a huge show. It wasn't something that we watched, but
You got a name for them? Are they called like Thronesies or something like that? I'm just taking a guess. I imagine they probably got some kind of...
No idea. Anyways, it's become a tour. These trees have become a tourist attraction. They line the road to the entrance of Grace Hill House. They were planted around 1775. The hedges were visited apparently by the ghost known as the Grey Lady. And it's also been used as a filming location in Transformers: The Last Night. There was a preservation order placed in 2004 to protect the trees. And I think there's around 90 trees remaining. They've had a lot of damage from different storms. The trees themselves are surface roots, so they damage very easily. And I think that the last that I read, they were trying to close. Actually, it's a tourist attraction, but they were actually trying to close the road and limit like actual traffic going down because it was doing so much damage to the roots of the trees. And then the trees were dying off. So, but even just I'll post a picture. They do look really, really cool. It'd be cool to walk through the tunnel of the trees. And again, if you're like a Game of Thrones fan and, you know, it's kind of a cool place to go. A Thronesy. We'll just coin them now. If the term hasn't been coined, we'll do it. They're your Thronesies. Okay, so in number 4 spot, we have, this is actually on my cauldron list, or it used to be. I don't know if I could handle the crowds now, is New Orleans in Louisiana. Now, it's located along the Mississippi River. It's renowned for its music, its cuisine, and most notably, the Festival of Mardi Gras.
It's Mardi Gras New Orleans, but carnival season isn't just about Fat Tuesday. For 2 weeks leading up to Mardi Gras Day, you can head over to St. Charles Avenue and catch mass crews riding in elaborate floats. And if you act nicely, you can catch a whole lot more.
You gotta make eye contact with the person on the float. That's how you get beads and shoes and purses.
When people come to Mardi Gras and they've never experienced it,
just have fun with it. It's a great time. Take it slow, enjoy your time, because it's many days, it's many hours, and you don't want to miss anything.
It was founded in 1718 by French colonists. Unfortunately, with New Orleans, it has a very high crime rate. There was 280 murders in 2022. So if you do plan on going, play it safe, as you should with any trip that you plan.
Stay alive.
Stay alive. Yeah, come back home. It's in the top 10 most visited cities in the U.S. It is very popular. There's a steamboat that cruises the length of the city twice a day. So that's kind of a cool thing, like still from the steamboat era. And it's also known as a very spiritual place. It's been, well known and well portrayed also in movies and television for voodoo. It's very spiritually eccentric with a lot of shops and parlors and boutiques. And Marie Laveau, one of the most famous witches, actually called New Orleans home. And she was known as the Voodoo Queen. And there's also a lot of ghost tours, museums, cemeteries. I'm not really sure when the Mardi Gras festival actually is. March, April? I can't really remember.
May, June, July, August, September.
Oh, we missed it. February 13th.
Okie dokie.
Oh, poop.
What are the dates? Mardi Gras falls on Tuesday, February 13th. So obviously it's in February. So next year, 2025 for your cauldron list.
Cool.
Number 4, New Orleans, Louisiana. In the number 3 spot, Cornwall, England. It houses the Museum of Witchcraft and Magic. This is in the southwest of England. Don't leave tomorrow. It opens on April 1st, 2024. It's, I do believe, seasonal. It's a museum dedicated to European witchcraft and magic. It's located in the village of Boscastle. It was originally founded in Stratford-upon-Avon, but was locally opposed, so it's moved. And I know that through my research, I didn't make a list of who's the curator of the museum now, but it's gone through several different hands of museum owners. It houses over 3,000 objects dedicated to the practice of witchcraft and has a library much bigger than mine. It's over 7,000 books. So that'd be really, really cool to see.
They got a few more books than you.
I bought 3 more books for my library the other day, but I already had one, so that's going to be redonated.
Well, since you bought the 3 books, you should go count them now, because maybe you might have more books than them now.
I do not have 7,000 books. I do not have 700 books.
But you just bought 3 more.
I did. I'm getting there.
Okay.
The museum, getting back to the museum, Sean gets me off track so easily. No food, drinks, or dogs allowed in the museum, which I kind of understand. I don't know if that portrays or filters down to service animals. That's something, if you're deciding to go and you do have a service animal, that you would have to check on to see if you'd be allowed.
No rubber chickens.
No pirate chickens. But the museum, interestingly enough, includes the chalice used in rituals by Aleister Crowley.
Mr. Crowley, what went on in your head?
And talismans, actually, that were created by Gerald Gardner, who is the founder of Gardenian Wicca. So it's a really cool place to visit, and I am page turning. So number 2, another one that is on my cauldron list, is Triora, Italy. It's known as the Village of Witches. It was the site of the last witch trials held in Italy. They have 3 annual festivals. They have the Summer Witchcraft Festival in August and 2 autumn celebrations, the Mushroom Festival in September and Halloween in October. I don't think it has a huge population anymore. The witch trials took place between 1587 and 1589 and ended with the death of some women. And like so many places, their history is just bathed in the sadness and the atrocities that came through the witch trials throughout the world. I do have some footnotes. Some footnotes.
You say it's a mushroom festival?
Yeah, they have a mushroom. I don't know what kind of mushrooms.
Well, if it's a witch thing, it'd be magic, wouldn't it?
Well, magic mushrooms? Who knows? So in Triora, the people accused of witchcraft became 200 in what was a real all-local witch hunt. And it was actually an excuse for families who had grudges against each other and personal conflicts with different families to kind of wage war on each other and accuse each other of witchcraft. So once again, these people were not actually practicing witchcraft or, it was just...
None of this stuff would have happened if they would have had the internet. Because they would just do what we normally do these days and just sit behind a computer and take jabs at each other.
Yeah. Initially, 13 women were imprisoned, and then 6 more, plus a man. They were all accused of witchcraft, and they were subsequently sent to the prisons of Genoa. One of these women died under torture, and another killed herself by throwing herself into the void. Not really sure what that is. And then the Holy Office of Rome was called in, and it took 2 years to condemn the witches. So meanwhile, let's see here, 5 other women had died in prison in Genoa and 7 in Triora. And there was no burning of the bodies like your usual death sentence, but the trials ended with prison sentences.
So how many women?
13 women were imprisoned, then 6 more, and a man.
Oh, one man.
One man.
So that was their version of keeping it equal.
Let's not go there in the podcast. But it's also, northern Italy. And if you can afford a trip to Italy, then, certainly take in everything Italy. The wine, the bread, the music, the people, the countryside. It's
the shrooms.
You're stuck on that. There's Venice. I mean, I know that there's, it's a big distance and a lot of travel in between certain tourist attractions. Triora actually, I don't think is on the map as an actual tourist attraction, but there are some really cool YouTube videos that kind of take you through the town. So those are kind of neat to go through if you want to have a virtual trip on your cauldron list. And then moving to our number 1 spot, and I think everybody probably at this point has already guessed what the number 1 witchy destination is because we've gone through 9 of them and it hasn't been mentioned yet. Salem, Massachusetts.
Located in the American state of Massachusetts, Salem is a city of roughly 40,000 people. Founded in 1626 by a group of fishermen led by Roger Conant, the city was at one point one of the United States' most important seaports. The city's cultural identity, and the reason for which it is famous today, is derived mainly from its part in the Salem witch trials of 1692. During these trials, numerous people were persecuted under suspicion of witchcraft. Aside from its witchy reputation, Salem is a colorful coastal city full of beautiful architecture and attractions the whole family can enjoy.
Famous for the 1692 witch trials. Notably, it's the most famous witchy destination. We have been there. We spent 5 days there. So yeah, it is, most notably, like I said, the most famous, and it is very affordable. We managed, when we were looking to get, and now, mind you, we went in springtime and not in October when it's crazy busy. And we booked 5 days, and there was you and me, and we also took my mom, and we went for 5 days, and our price included our airfare to and from and our hotel, as well as our car, not a rental that we drove, but just a pickup from the airport to the hotel on both ends. And it was really quite affordable. And I also know that there's a lot of Airbnbs. There's some different hotels. We did not stay at, the name escapes me. There's a really famous one. I'm going to kick my butt.
Something waterfront or something?
No, that's the one we stayed at. We stayed at the Salem Waterfront Hotel. And it was a beautiful hotel, very clean, and has a restaurant within the hotel that serves breakfast, lunch, dinner. The food was excellent. The service was excellent. Having only been there once, we would certainly recommend that to anybody. Now, mind you, that was a few years ago. It was pre-COVID, just before COVID, actually, when we went. And so what to do in Salem? Well, what isn't there to do? There are tons of shops, museums, restaurants. You can get readings done, lots of witchy items. We only had carry-ons. We ended up buying a suitcase while we were there. We had to go to Walmart. We bought a suitcase and paid to bring the suitcase back because I bought too much stuff.
Yeah, and there's other things there too if you're not really into the whole witch thing. I mean, there's that pirate museum.
There is a pirate museum.
Approved by
Pirate chicken. Yeah, we could probably talk about Salem for days because it's a coastal town. I mean, it's very much a maritime destination as well. There was, I think, a lot of people where we stayed at the Salem Waterfront Hotel. The onus is to go towards the town and go to the museums. But on the other side of the hotel, you walk down the waterfront, there's a lot of really cool shops and restaurants. And that one gift shop that we went to, they had some beautiful stuff. Again, more of a maritime flair than a witchcraft flair.
Yeah, it's almost like what it is here at home in Nova Scotia.
Yeah. But I mean, it definitely is very tourist oriented. It's very cool also to be down at the waterfront and see the planes coming into Logan Airport because they fly right over Salem, and it just feels like you could reach out and touch them because they are like huge.
Yeah, and I remember when we were flying in, it was almost like they passed the airport because the plane started tilting on its side as if it's like, oh, we missed it, let's go back.
Yeah. Coming into Logan Airport. And the funny thing is too with Logan Airport is we did a lot of research. I was terrifying because, it's Boston, it's huge. And it was just so much easier to get through Logan Airport than we thought it was going to be. Because at the airport itself, we only touched on not even the size of Halifax International Airport from where we came off the plane and, grabbed our stuff and went. I mean, it was just, we only had a carry-on, so we didn't have to wait for luggage or anything like that. So we just found our driver and off to the hotel we went. It was very, very smooth, very organized. Anyways, back to...
just one more thing. The song when we get off the plane. That was really cool, too, because Linda's very favorite song is I Put a Spell on You. And
the Annie Lennox version.
Annie Lennox version, yes. And we're just getting off the plane, taking your, dream trip. Mm-hmm. And as soon as we get off the plane, that song starts playing right away, out loud.
Yep. And the funny thing is...
perfect.
When we went home and we were in the airport lounge waiting to leave, there was no music, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
So just one of those things that was meant to be. So yeah, what to do in Salem. So top of my list, I would have to say, I mean, we enjoyed everything. And I know some people say, well, if you go to one museum, you don't need to go to all of them because it's all the same story. It's all the same thing. That's a load of crap. I'm sorry. Visit them all. If you got the time and you've got the money, go to every single one of them. We kind of ran out of time and steam towards the end of the trip. So there was a couple of museums that we didn't make it to. But my favorite was obviously the Salem Witch Museum. They did a fabulous presentation. And they've got a really great gift shop at the end of the tour. The Witch Dungeon Museum and the Witch History Museum, the Salem Witch House. And then... on the other side of the plus there's you've got that cobblestone street down the center with all of your shops and shopping, and there's the Howling Wolf is a restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant. If you like Mexican food, even if you don't like Mexican food, go there. They have the best waitress in the world. I think we talked about her in another podcast.
I think so, yeah.
And also Count Orlok's.
Yes.
Is the
if you like horror
if you like horror movies, definitely stop at Count Orlok's. And I'm not going to get into the shops and stuff because I know even just by seeing some different videos on TikTok and seeing some different things on the social media and also knowing people who have been to Salem since COVID, that some of the shops that we actually went to didn't survive COVID, and now there's new shops. So another reason for us to go back for another trip.
I remember seeing that sign saying, I got stoned in Salem.
Yeah. It's not really a happy way to go.
No. No.
Not in the terms of what it actually meant. But
back in the day, getting stoned was a bad thing. These days, getting stoned as well. Depends if you're into that kind of thing, and then it's a good thing.
So what else did we do in Salem? There's the trolley. You can take the trolley tour.
And the bunghole liquor.
Bunghole liquor. Yeah, I do believe. Well, you came home with a shirt that says, I got it in the bunghole.
No, I didn't get that one.
Oh, you didn't get that one?
No.
Okay.
No, I was turn the other cheek or something.
Not for children. Oh, turn the other cheek?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you don't like bunghole, turn the other cheek or something.
Yeah.
Like I said.
We went to a couple of scary little stores. Not scary as in horror scary or witchy scary, but as in we were tourists scary.
Yeah, that one liquor store was kind of,
Yeah, it wasn't really a liquor store. It was a grocery store, and it had, but there was.
And we ate at Wendy's. That was kind of.
Yeah, don't go to Wendy's. If you're, you know what, just go somewhere else. Don't go to Wendy's.
In Salem.
In Salem.
Well, in all fairness, it could have been like absolutely fantastic. It's just the person that waited on us was not all that friendly.
She was not having a good day.
No.
Yeah. So, not really friendly, not really. And the food, well, actually, to be honest, wasn't that great. It was Wendy's, but
everywhere else was friendly, overly friendly.
Overly friendly.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know if Turtle Alley Chocolates is still there, but if they are and you're there, definitely get the chocolate covered bacon. Oh my God.
And that graveyard was pretty cool too.
Yeah, the graveyards were really cool. And the other thing with Salem too is it's walkable.
Yeah.
You don't need to kind of like, no matter where you are, unless you're like on the outskirts, if you stay on the outskirts of Salem, you may have to consider some form of transportation. We actually did take the Witch City cab, because we took the Witch City cab to Salem.
That's right too,
Or to Walmart, I mean. And but if you stay within the town limits, you can walk everywhere. It's like Mahone Bay, Nova Scotia, if you're familiar with the South Shore of Nova Scotia, or like Chester. It's definitely walkable. There is admission, obviously, to the museums. And if you're looking for witchy items and souvenirs, take lots of money, because you won't be disappointed. Like I say, even though some of those shops may not be there now, I'm sure what they've been replaced with are just as good. And it's anything and everything. And like I said, there's lots of people there to do readings. The Witch City Mall, you can also do witch picks, which we actually didn't have a chance to get done. It's a photo studio where you can go in and you can dress up and they'll do portraits for you.
You said witch pics. Okay. I was misunderstood you.
All right. Well, we're not going to go there.
And if you're into Bewitched, there's all kinds of...
Oh, yes. I forgot about how did I forget about that? Samantha's statue right in the heart of the city.
And town, all the souvenirs that you can get. Because you can pretty well get like Bewitched on anything in Salem, like a mug or... an ornament or something, or a fridge magnet.
Fridge magnet, yep. If you want to, bring little. Now, I don't know if it's still there or not. There is an Opus. If you want to spend the money and have fine dining. We didn't.
What's an Opus?
It's a restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, one of them.
So there's no closes.
Michelin star thingies.
Opus closes. That's a terrible joke.
Oh, boy.
Hey, did you know there's a statue of Samantha in Salem?
But anyway, so I think that pretty much wraps up our talk about Salem. Definitely, like I said, the most notable of witchy destinations. And then the other, being completely selfish, not really a tie for number one at all, but I think my Zenden is a pretty witchy destination. Sean thinks it looks like its own little witchy museum. And I make a pretty good cup of tea. So, if you befriend me or you want to come for a visit, then, if you're traveling to Nova Scotia, then, stick me on your list. Send me an email.
And you're not some stalker dude.
And you're not some, creepy serial killer. Or somebody who thinks I need to be saved. But then I don't think I have to worry about anybody thinking that listening to this podcast. So,
probably not.
But if you're traveling through the South Shore of Nova Scotia, definitely put the Zenden on your list. And like I said, I make a pretty good cup of tea. We usually got a couple of cookies in the cupboard. Can't guarantee they're fresh, but you never know.
Some crumpets.
Some tea and crumpets. So yeah, those are some really great destinations all around the world. Definitely, you can have a cauldron list if you've got the time and the money and the resources to be able to do it. And if not, well, internet is a wonderful place. YouTube has a lot of great videos that you can, create your own little at-home experience. So that kind of wraps up our witchy destinations. And so now we will move on to the zodiac portion of the podcast.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius.
So in this episode, we're going to discuss Pisces. Pisces is a zodiac symbol that runs from February 19th to March 20th. It is the 12th and last house of the zodiac. The symbol is the fish, element is water, and the ruling planet is Neptune. Pisces are friendly and likable. They can be moody, full of imagination. They're sensitive and helpful. Colors for Pisces are purple, gray, and blue. Lucky stones are pink coral, turquoise, and aquamarine. And lucky numbers for Pisces are 17, 21, and 37. And that concludes the zodiac portion of the podcast. And now we will go on to the full moon.
Arr.
Arr. So the March full moon is actually the full worm moon. It is on March 25th this year, which also happens to be my birthday. So I am quite sure I will be up to some energetic shenanigans since it's a full moon. It's a time of renewal and rebirth. It's when the earth begins to thaw. Worms return to the soil. It's the start of spring. And it is also known as the crow moon and the sugar moon, which just happen to be two of my favorite things, crows and sugar.
Cool.
It's a time for manifesting positive affirmations, and it's a good time to do your spring cleaning. And so ends the full moon for March. And now we will move on to the shout out section of the podcast.
Yippee.
So the shout out section, just want to put it out there too. Don't forget, if you're a business or if you're an event that is coming up and you would like us to advertise, feel free to drop us a line at themaritimewitch@gmail.com. We'd be happy to support your event. There is a Mystic Moon Fair, March 23rd and 24th at the Maritime Hall, the Halifax Forum, hosted by the Emerald Cauldron and the Pagan Assembly of Nova Scotia. It's a 2-day event. I have never been to this, so I don't know what it's like, but I'm sure there's lots of information. I think they do have a Facebook page. I'm sure there'll be a lot of great things there. And then on April 13th, there is a spiritual craft fair at the Bridgewater Legion, 78 Churchill Street in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. It goes from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. There's an admission of $2. The usual troublemakers will be there, myself included. I will be there to do charm castings. And I know a lot of the vendors that are going to be attending this fair. And it's a great group of people. It's a lot of really good energy and a lot of fun and a lot of great products and services. So if you're in Bridgewater that day, April 13th, mark your calendars, come on out and support. And come and see us. So that ends the shout out section of the podcast. So now before we go, there is one other thing that I would just like to mention is the spring equinox, March 20th. Colors are green, pink, and blue. It's the spring equinox. It's the time for honoring the spring's warmth and the light from the sun and the awakening of the earth. You can decorate with flowers and fairies and butterflies, rabbits and eggs. Food that you can use to represent the spring equinox: eggs, honey, baked goods. And then you can also decorate with clover and tulips and daffodils, everything spring. So it's a nice time of year. It's a time of renewal and rebirth and planting and regrowth. And
it's very nice because it means you don't got to scrape your windshield anymore.
Leave it to Sean to find the positive in that. So, yeah, we covered a lot of ground. The next episode is going to be a surprise to all of us because I haven't decided on the content as of yet. I'm sure we'll be here for a lot of fun and shenanigans once again. And in the meantime, may the universe find you happy, healthy, and safe. Blessed be.